Hi, you guys. Welcome to your weekly pick a card tarot card reading. Hi, you guys. Welcome to the weekly bump. Let's talk about these stars for a second before we get into the cards. We have some pretty amazing things happening this week. We have three really big conjunctions going on right now. We have Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn. We have Mars and Saturn in Aquarius. And we have Mercury and Neptune in Pisces. Plus, we have Venus coming into her new sign of Gemini, where she's going to be doing a retrograde. And we have the sun continuing through Aries, beautiful Aries, its exalted position, right? We love that kind of energy. And then we also have this full moon in Libra that we're building up to as well. Now, these three conjunctions, right? Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn, Mars and Saturn in Aquarius, and Neptune and Mercury in Pisces. Let's talk about those for a second, because Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces are the last three signs of the zodiac, right? They represent truly the opening up of humanity, where we sort of lose our own individual identities and we become a part of this global collective and a part of the oneness of the universe. So it kind of is interesting that we are in a position where we are forced to really think about literally everybody else in the world, where we have to take certain precautions when we leave the house for the sake of the greater good, where we have to stay at home and work for the sake of the greater good, and there's a lot of service going on right now. And when you really think about the people who are working very hard to make sure that for the most part, our everyday lives can stay as normal as possible, I mean, that really is the essence of like Capricorn, Aquarius, and Gemini. Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. There's this essence of servitude coming out. Us in a much bigger picture. And when we all work together and when we as individuals tap into that, we do change. And I think a lot of us are going through deep changes intrinsically, hopefully, especially people watching this kind of stuff on YouTube. We are changing. We're seeing things from a much, much, much bigger perspective. Our vulnerability serving us very well, our losses ultimately serving us very well. Now, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn is a really beautiful moment in time. It's a beautiful capture, right? Because we have the depth and the destruction and the power of Pluto coming into an essence of Jupiter, which is all about expansion. He kind of comes in and really magnifies a lot of things. And for us to go so deep on an individual scale, for us to be able to look very deep within ourselves for the sake of change, to bring in greater prosperity and abundance in the future, there's no time like this, right? I think we all are really able to see our true, authentic, core versions of ourselves in a much more clear way, which really plows the way for the future for us. It plows the way for our future careers, for our future relationships, and all those kinds of things. Now, when we talk about Saturn and Mars coming together in the very, very first degrees of Aquarius here, this is actually Pluto and Jupiter and Mars and Saturn are kind of like interesting tension kind of energies, right? Because Pluto wants to destruct and Saturn wants to restrict. And we have Mars and Jupiter who are so I want to expand, I want to go, I want to move, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to succeed, I want to, all these things. And yet they're confined, but I think in a really good way. It keeps us all very humble. There's all these things we want to do, and yet we're forced to do things more logically. We're forced to do things in an organized kind of way. We're forced to keep things in certain confines and certain structures that ultimately will enable better growth. It won't be chaotic growth. It will be more purposeful and more directed. Now, the depths of Scorpio-Pluto, the Pluto rulership, I say Scorpio, sorry, the depth of Pluto, it really is tapping us into our purity. Saturn and Mars coming conjunct in Aquarius are really tapping into the greater good, right? So we have, how can we be a part of this greater good? And then we have clear over in Pisces where Mercury is not necessarily in his best position. He does not really do Mercury. This is the essence of Mercury in Pisces for me. My mouth just I can't make any sense of anything. We have Mercury in Pisces with Pisces ruler Neptune, and Mercury does not like to be in Pisces, right? This is its house of detriment or debilitation. It does not really function super well here, but there's a lot of amazing insights and deep meditations and dreams and subconscious yearnings and things that can come out during this time. So it is purifying us in its own way as well. You know, whenever anything comes through Pisces, there's always like what you think is real is not very real. You know, Mercury in Pisces, what you think is not the reality, you know? And so let's get into the dream state. Let's tap into our subconscious. Let's allow things to be undone so that we can rebuild more prominently in the future. Now, Pisces will be out of Neptune. There we go again. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Mercury will be coming out of Pisces soon, and it will be making its way into Aries, and it will have a much more, aggressive kind of way of operating, which will be a lot easier. And that will be coupled with a Mars in Aquarius, which is very expansive and problem-solving oriented. So there's going to be a lot of restructuring and a lot of re-implementing new things coming up for us. So at this time, this week, with these big three conjunctions going on, we are feeling the constraint, and it makes sense that Donald Trump just kind of extended the stay-at-home time until April 30th, right? Because we need to feel that pressure cooker before we can really release it. So this is kind of that week where it's all really going down right now. And as we make our way out of this week and make our way into April, things are going to really start dissipating. Things are going to start flowing a lot more freely and a lot more with more fluidity, which will be really great. Full moon in Libra, of course, highlighting the romantic and the partnership and the alliance kind of aspect of this, giving us clarity for our future moving forward with relationships. There's an opportunity even though, again, I don't really like Mercury and Pisces too much, there is an opportunity to really talk about deep things. With Jupiter and Pluto, same thing, right? There's this understanding of the depths, and this can go with your partnerships, understanding where your partner is really coming from, what really motivates them, what they really want. So as we are coming in contact with a deeper version of ourselves, our partners are going through that as well. So there's kind of a renewal opportunity for a lot of us to start fresh. Like, who are we now becoming? Who are these new identities? And let's try to, get to know each other again. And it's going to be a beautiful time for people who are madly in love to become even more in love. And for those of you who don't have romance in your life, there's an opportunity for you to now go out and go forward and start connecting with people in a new kind of way that could attract like that really cool person that matches this person that you're becoming, so you can move forward in the future, more easily now. Okay, so a lot of beautiful things. Let's go ahead and get into these cards, and we'll see you in just a sec. Okay, everybody, so here we have our 4 piles, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're using all agate today, so we have a teal, a magenta, an orange or yellow, and a violet. So go ahead, take a moment, pause the video if you need to really feel your way toward one pile or another. If you have a question, you are welcome to ask. You might get an answer. If you want to watch multiple piles for multiple questions, you certainly can do that as well. So go ahead, and the timestamps will be in the description box and the comment thread down below, so you can just click ahead and get started. All right, see you in just a sec. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected that teal color agate. Let's go ahead and get into these cards. Okay, the very first card we get is the koala spirit. It says spirit has a plan. So, there's a lot of faith in the higher intelligence right now for you guys. I think you're kind of maybe happy to sort of take your hands off the wheel here and just sort of allow things to happen the way they need to, changes to occur, even if it was something, quote unquote, a negative, like a bad experience or a negative experience, like a loss of income or something like that. There does seem to be a very shaman-like quality coming from you. Like saying, okay, well, if this is what it had to be, then this is what it had to be. There's just a lot of acceptance. There's not a lot of fighting. There's not a lot of aggression going on. It's all very guru kind of type stuff. So let's go ahead and see what these tarot cards have to say. Lovers, Wheel of Fortune, Knight of Wands. Let's start with these three because this is really amazing. First of all, the Knight of Wands gives the energy of buoyancy, gives the energy of leaping forward, has that quality of like, yes, come on, let's go for a new adventure. And because of that openness, the Wheel of Fortune just sort of is like, oh, great, let's start cranking, and it starts pulling things in. I think you guys have a week of changes in front of you, which is great. I think you're going to start seeing things moving in a more preferable direction for you. There are going to be some things that occur that happen kind of out of nowhere. A lot of times that Wheel of Fortune can bring very small little miracles to us, and just kind of like one little thing at a time, almost like breadcrumbs. So if you just sort of follow the breadcrumbs in faith, right? Spirit has a plan. I think you're going to be headed towards something really amazing. Now, I did pull out a romantic card, which we'll see later on in the spread, but I do feel a very romantic vibe for you guys. So if you guys have a partner that you're sort of social distancing with, I think the sexual energy is going to be really amazing this week. I think there's going to be a lot of good fortune for you romantically. If you're totally single, and if you're putting yourself out there could be some really cool communication that happens online, with FaceTime dating or whatever. And if you're not doing anything at all, to me, this just signifies a feeling of absolute peace and unity within oneself. So I know you guys are probably trying to reach out, trying to connect, get those human connections really going, especially if you're more on the extroverted side. And I see success in that as well, which is really great. All right, the next three tarots, we have Nine of Wands, the Queen of Coins, and the Strength card. There seems to be a very royal quality coming from you. Very royal and majestic. I don't know why I'm feeling that. Like you're just moving forward with such grace and eloquence and dignity. The Strength card comes out and signifies someone who is taking the high road, taking the path of, maybe it might seem or appear to be a little bit more difficult, but it's actually a lot easier. You seem to be separating yourself from your ego quite well. So if there are any conflicts, if there are any issues, if there are any things that you need to really protect yourself from, you can do so with a sense of diplomacy and, it sort of commands respect, which is really great. The Queen of Coins is always someone who just has a lot of patience. Strength card as well, has a lot of patience for things to grow, and patience will be great with the Wheel of Fortune, because it's like, okay, it might not come all at once, but if the universe is going to breadcrumb me, boom, 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 and if I just follow the breadcrumbs, then I know I'll get to where I really want to go. The Lovers is a really wonderful reward. It's a really wonderful, prosperous place to be, whether it is money, whether it is love, whether it's anything else. It is the actual experience of that amazing thing, which is really great. Okay, so we have partnerships and alliances. Beautiful. Moving on. And the sacral chakra. Okay, so partnerships and alliances, things working out really well, working literally hand in hand. Maybe you guys are, maybe this does signify partnership, Queen of Coins, Knight of Rods. It's an interesting pairing. If you are coupled right now, it is an interesting pairing. If this is a business partnership, you are definitely taking on different roles, where one person is likely to still be trying to make things grow and to get creative and really think outside the box, while another one is sort of balancing that out by doing all of the things like the bookkeeping and all that still need to continue to get done. This is more machine-like, whereas this is more creative. I love the balance going on. I think it's absolutely beautiful. So if you are in a partnership, there's a lot of great things coming out for you there. If you're, again, totally single, it's the two sides of you working together, especially if you're an entrepreneur. I think there's going to be a lot of steps taken this week in your entrepreneurial activities, which will be really great. And they will both be, out there, quote unquote, via social media and other means, and also behind the scenes. So excellent. Moving on. Yeah, that's the Spirit has a plan. You're just like, okay, next. Okay, moving on. We're adjusting, we're adapting. It's fine. Everything is going to work out. And I think that this sort of empowerment, I love the sacral chakra coming out with the Strength card, because they go hand in hand. It's that, brilliant sun well, it's not really the sun energy. I'm feeling it's actually, for some reason I'm looking at sacral chakra, but I'm feeling strong yellow. So maybe both the second and the third chakra. I don't know why that is. I'm getting the sun here, really, really strong solar plexus chakra. This actually is more sexual in nature. There's, again, creative energy that comes from the sacral chakra, that desire to really connect with people coming out. But then there's the empowerment. And maybe it is the combination of both the second and third chakra spinning healthily and motivating you to move on and to not worry so much. I don't see this being a card of any stress or any worry at all. It's just what happens when the past is in the past and you are awaiting something new. You just move on. It's very neutral. There's not a lot of feelings or emotions about it. Show the world the real you. Wow. Okay. So then with the sacral chakra, this is deeply connected with our authenticity, deeply connected with our truest essence of self. It kind of alleviates a little bit of the personality and lets the soul shine through. There's not a lot of restriction or anything like that when we have this sort of full moon and Aquarius energy. To be the absolute most unique self that you could ever possibly be, and to just simply feel happy with that. And I think that an experience like what we're going through right now, it does really aid that, because we kind of come to that conclusion of like, what were we so worried about before? Why were we holding back before? Why were we so scared before? And maybe this is what we needed. This is the push we needed. Air element communicating. Well, that goes well with the Lover's card, which is a card of Gemini, which is an air sign, and also the Knight of Wands. This is your connection, connecting with people, remaining in front of people, letting people hear your voice, using your phone, using your emails and all of that to just really stay in touch and to really like keep things moving forward the way that you are hoping, so that when we're done with it, when we come out of it, nothing really has taken too much of a hit. Okay, so I did pull out a romantic card, like I said in the beginning, or at least I think I did. We have this new love card. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. And the new person, if you're married or have a pretty steady connection, you could be seeing a new version of your new partner. You yourself could be stepping into a new version of yourself. Therefore, the relationship gets renewed. If you are totally single and putting yourself out there, like I said, there could be some really cool contacts that happen. And because of our lack of ability to like go on a date, we really could be deepening emotionally a little bit better over technology. For some reason, I'm feeling that. Like, if you can't go on a date and there's no prospect of sex, then you can actually talk to the person. You can actually like get to know them, and they can actually get to know you. And there can be a little bit of a buildup of tension. So if you are, single and putting yourself out there and doing the dating app thing, that could actually be a really good thing for you to be doing. This creative energy, and this is also sexual energy as well, so that can permeate as well and actually stimulate a lot of new growth in a lot of areas of your life, which is really fantastic. And then the very last card we get is the Healer of Ages. Kind of looks a little bit like Jesus, or maybe it is Jesus, I don't know. But there is a healing quality, and again, that spirit has a plan with the koala spirit there. Plan for healing, a plan for growth, a plan for wholeness, as we see with the Lovers, a plan for unity. It's really amazing. Now, I put a lot of reversals in these tarot cards, and you guys didn't get a single one. So, you have a lot of upright, free-flowing, forward motion energy, which is really fantastic. So it should bode well for you this week. Take advantage, all right? Thank you guys so much. I'm going to leave you with that. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected that magenta agate, so here we go. Let's go ahead and dive in with the first card is the Lizard Spirit, Dream the World into Being. With this card, I always am sort of struck by how he seems to be climbing in one direction, but sort of looking in the other direction. And because we have this full moon in Libra, there does seem to be, a lot of balance going on. And because we are balanced or balancing or reaching an equilibrium, and perhaps the lack of distractions has really aided us in that, we are able to crawl forward or climb forward more easily. There seems to be an element of really keeping everything steady, keeping everything on course with this card or with this energy as well. So right now your dreams are actually serving you a lot of, favors, because they're guiding your actions. They are inspiring you in some way. They're getting you to move. They're getting you to do the emails, getting you to set that thing up, getting you to do X, Y, or Z. And it seems to be moving forward, like I say, very steadily, which is great. Ooh, and I love when we have dreams, like dream the world into being, and then we get this. To me, it tells me that your fantasies are serving you in a positive way. Because we always have oh wow, okay, so we even have the Empress card, which is the card of creation as well. You guys are in hyper manifestation mode right now, whether you see it or not. To me, I think there's a lot of things happening on the DL, right, in the energetic, unseen, metaphysical world, but we're not really seeing it being reflected into our physical realm quite yet, because we do have the overall arching energy of the dream state. So these dreams are starting to unfold in a real world kind of way. I like you guys daydreaming. This is so perfect for a Mercury and Neptune in Pisces right now. I mean, it's just like exactly where you should be, because there's so much information that can be downloaded during a Mercury and Pisces transit. And now, especially with the Mercury-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. So, I mean, you seem to have a very thin veil between the real world right now and, the spirit world. So there seems to be a lot of spiritual guidance, a lot of spiritual presence for you right now. And if you if you allow yourself to catch the wave, you will, and it will take you to greater prosperity. All right. The Empress always represents the best of the best. And it takes us time to really get there. But when we start taking the actions to get there, we can get there quite quickly. Okay. So here we have the Ace of Swords reversed, Chariot, and the Five of Swords reversed. This suggests to me a substantial lack of clarity and lack of being able to see it in a physical way. And that's why the dreams come in to kind of help facilitate that. Because if you can see it in your dreams or your fantasy, and I say dreams could also be daydreams, okay? Allow yourself to indulge in this sort of fantasy realm right now, because as far as you can tell, maybe there is no clear path, but here comes the Chariot, boom, and says, yes, there absolutely is. Just because you can't use logic right now, just because you can't see something in an intellectual capacity, doesn't mean it's not possible, okay? So here we have the Chariot, which completely combusts the Ace of Swords, just sort of blows it out of the water and says, hey, your mind is getting in the way right now. You have to really just trust. You have to really just have the capacity to allow yourself to be guided right now, because any intellectualizing this, any trying to wrap logic around something is just absolutely not going to serve you, and it's going to stunt the motion, because there is tons and tons and tons of motion going on for you guys right now, whether you can see it or not. It is all happening in the physical realm, in the dream state, and this is going to help you to bring it into fruition in reality, okay? Helping to match the energy with the physical, which is really exactly where we always want to be anyway. Okay, so we have choose wisely. Some people are going to choose this lack of clarity, and they're going to be riddled by fear, and they're not going to allow themselves to be inspired to do things. They will feel the inspiration, and yet they will choose to just sit there and not act because logically it doesn't make sense, those kinds of things. So it's important for you to allow your mind to get out. Oh, and then we have awareness. Yeah. This is the deep connection with the higher self, which is the Chariot. So when it comes to ascension, when it comes to growth, when it comes to taking your business to the next level, when it comes to enhancing your financial situation in spite of what's happening in the world, see, the things that are happening in the world right now are the logical things. These are the swords that really, they have a place, and I'm not telling you to completely ignore everything, but I am saying that if you focus on that, it's going to blind you to the fact that the Chariot is trying to get you to where you need to be. So the awareness of the intellect not serving you is going to serve you, okay? Ooh, see, and then fulfillment of wishes. How beautiful is this? And this goes hand in hand with the Empress card. What do you want? What have you been working for the past 3, 4, 5 years? Has it been a financial, fortune? Has it been true love? Has it been family? Has it been security? Has it been peace? It's likely to come sooner than you think. Okay, there are a lot of things, and I keep saying this last month as well. It's kind of like around the corner. It's around the corner. It's around the corner. I didn't realize at the time that, the virus thing was going to be such a big deal. And yet here it is, and it has been, and, but still, there's still an around the corner kind of vibe. The astrology really supports, a little bit of a calm down in June, and then like real static growth beginning in like February of 2021. So, we do have an interesting year, and I said at the very beginning that this year is going to be a little bit strange for love. It's going to be a little bit strange for, a lot of starting new projects and all of that, but if you can still do it, it will take you very far. Okay, a win-win outcome is forecast. Boom, there it is. How beautiful is that? And we have this full moon in Libra, so here it is, the full moon in Libra. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. Things balancing out. You win, other people win, and there's nothing to even think about there. It just is what it is. Ooh, Jupiter return with the benefits. Okay, I can't make this stuff up, guys. This is just what comes out, right? We have the Jupiter return, which is always enhanced optimism and expansion in a lot of ways, and material ways is very much included in that. You might start feeling things expanding this week, rather. You could start having a lot of new ideas. You could start having a flush of creativity. You could start even feeling like the tension is relieving itself a little bit. And because the tension relieves itself, you then are in a more receptive mode, which is really great. I love this lizard spirit. I really do. And I love the balance, how he's, like I said, he's climbing in one direction, but looking in the other, kind of balancing things out. And that goes very well with the scales of the full moon in Libra as well. So I did pull out a romance card because I did feel that was important to do for those of you who are in connections or whatever. Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. And and I look at this Six of Cups and I see, that it probably will be okay. I see that you could actually really work through some issues that maybe you're having. If you are truly honest, I don't see any reason why anyone should be lying or trying to cover that feelings up. It's a matter of really just sitting down and saying, hey, babe, we need to really talk about this. If it's not romantic, there could be a lot of things that could be achieved in professional relationships as well. You can really sit down and hash out the problems and say, wow, what can we really do to fix this? And how can we rectify it? And can we each rely on each other to actually continue with the solution, So there's a lot of positive benefits there. Ooh, and then a yin yang, you guys. It doesn't get more Libra than that. I don't even know what to tell you. It doesn't get more balanced or equilibrium than that. So when it comes to giving and receiving, there's an equal balance. When it comes to moving forward with the Chariot, it is very much about action and the dream state. And there will be some actions that you can take, as we see with this Eight of Wands. There will be some steps that can be taken this week that will appear, that will show up, that you can actually check off the list to help get you one step closer. But don't forget to do the dreaming either. I think the dreaming and the fantasizing and the journaling and all of that is going to be really beneficial for you in attaining and fulfilling these wishes. Wow, really, really awesome reading. I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. I hope you have an excellent week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Okay, pile number 3. You guys picked this sort of yellow-orange agate color. So the very first card that comes out is the Armadillo Spirit. Set healthy boundaries. okay. Not sure what you guys are going through, that maybe you need to hear that, to be able to protect yourself, to be able to stand up for yourself, and to be able to say what does and does not work for you is probably going to be a really, important thing for you to really think about, to really ensure that no one is really crossing the line, making sure that people are not violating you in any way, shape, or form, and to really be able to stand up for yourself here. So we have this Six of Swords. Okay, wow. All right. Three of Swords reversed. We have the Queen of Swords. Okay. Is this the person maybe you need to set boundaries from, or is this you? Queen of Swords can feel very out of sorts. A lot of sword energy telling me you're really in your head right now. A lot of thoughts going on. Queen of Swords can have a really hard time making decisions. She can have a hard time putting her foot down. And she can sometimes be very unaware of where a healthy boundary even is. If you are feeling very much in pain or feeling sad or feeling afraid or anything like that, or feeling unloved or uncared for or underappreciated, it's can be tempting to just let it continue. And yet the Six of Swords is really telling you it's time for you to either call it quits, call it a day, move on, or to be very clear in what you need and to communicate that. This Venus coming through Gemini, she's really going to force us to communicate. She's going to force us to say the things that maybe we really don't want to say. And it's probably creeping up on you this week and feeling like, oh my God, I have to say something. I really have to, I have to do my part in something. Okay, so we get the Nine of Coins, Seven of Wands, and the Tower. I'm feeling a little, right? This is a very antagonistic kind of energy. Like maybe you're needing to defend yourself, setting the boundaries. Maybe there are kind of some attacks coming on at you. It could be from the world, okay? It could be from a person. It could be from just life circumstances changing so rapidly. And now is really a time for you to ask yourself, right? Like Nine of Coins, like what is it that I deserve? What is it that I want to do with my life? This really is a story of you putting yourself first and not worrying so much about hurting people's feelings or worrying about other people's success. This is a time for you to really put yourself first. It is still Aries season after all. This full moon in Libra really is going to illuminate the Aries energy as well as amplify the Libran energy. So it's really a question of me for me and a question of me for you, and how those two things compare and how they really work together. But you have to be able to take care of you before you can really start taking care of other people. I think you have something very valuable to protect. You have your caringness, your compassion, your energy, your value, your knowledge, your wisdom, your talent, your skills, all those things. They are very much worth protecting. And I definitely don't want to see anyone taking advantage of that from you, especially not right now when the world is going through what it's going through. So you have to be able to stand firm and to be proud of these things. So the Queen of Swords reversed, she does worry me just a little bit, because it's almost as though she doesn't know what she's worth. She rationalizes things and justifies things that shouldn't be rationalized and justified away. It's important that you take the evidence that the universe is really giving you right now and using that, because I think there's a lot of healthy information coming at you right now. Of course, we have the Tower reversed, which does suggest a change, right? Without a doubt, there's a lot of changes going on. And maybe this is the thing you are needing to set boundaries for also as well. Let's go ahead and see what these cards say. We have the Triumphant Success, Emotional Loss. Okay, we got the Three of Swords as well. And we have Positive Movement Forward. It's almost as though you're having to say, okay, this is what it is, and just move on. Now, I love the Triumphant Success because it means when it comes to setting boundaries and when it comes to seeing yourself as a Nine of Coins type of person, and you start communicating your needs and what you require, that it will be triumphant for you and that people will respect your wishes. If you do find that people do not respect what you are saying, it is probably time for you to call it a loss and just move on, because you'll probably be better working with people who respect you a little bit more than, than not. I mean, obviously. So there is a lot of good stuff coming at you for the week. There is going to be a lot of motion. And I do feel that there is, and I said this in the second reading as well, there is this strong undercurrent of energy right now, and everything is happening on the DL in the metaphysical realm. You are probably facing issues right here and right now, right in front of you, like in an actual kind of way. But don't forget that there's a whole other energy side to everything as well that is also working, that is also evolving. And so that's why it's important for you to set that boundary so that you can just move forward, so that you can shift and, bend and be agile in the way that you need to be, right? Because again, it's very much a you for you. This is like putting on your oxygen mask in the airplane first so that you can then help other people. So that's an important kind of image to keep in your mind right now. Make sure you are in a position where you can thrive, so that you can then, help others along the way. New moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. Okay, maybe this is the scary stuff. Maybe this is the scary stuff. Maybe it's the clarity and the communication that's scary. Maybe sometimes it's just about saying the words. The Scorpionic energy is very intense. It has a strong connection with sometimes chaos and disruption, and we see that with the Tower here, but it is also a very clean slate, right? Because when things crash and burn, the fire is such a symbolic, or it's such a symbol of cleansing. It's such a symbol of purity, and it is through fire that we become the most pure self and our most authentic self. And sometimes you do have to set that boundary so that you can truly be your most authentic self. Because normally we find ourselves in Queen of Swords reverse types of situations, that are not really our authentic selves. So it's important for you to get back to that this week as much as possible. Virgo, I analyze. Definitely a lot of thinking going on with all the swords coming out. Just a lot of mental activity. But don't really stay there too long, because this could be a story of over-analysis paralysis, right? Where you just analyze and analyze and analyze so much that not a lot of things get done. There does need to be a balance of action that is taken, words that are spoken with desire. Okay, so this is all about bringing your systems together, bringing your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirit, and your world all together. And it can be tough, but ultimately the Tower is actually going to help it move along quite quickly. And then we even have the Eight of Wands, which is also a very swift, right? Sails are full of wind. It can move very quickly. And it's just a matter of what choices you make this week. So this is great though, because the Virgo energy is also very hardworking. It's also dedicated in service. So there is this element of, how can I be my best self so I can give back? Right? So that I can help in a bigger way. Now, I pulled out a romantic card because I wanted, it is a full moon in Libra, and relationships are such a huge part of our lives. So I do want to talk about it. This one comes out as make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Sometimes that's all you need to do is just say the words. Sometimes all you need to do is to set the boundary. For some reason, I feel like this boundary thing is really an important thing for you. I don't know why. Setting that boundary can actually enhance love. Because when you step into greater self-love, then it's more likely that other people can truly love you. Right? That saying of we teach people how to treat us, that kind of thing is kind of coming out here. And if you are feeling disconnected with someone, if you are feeling like someone is maybe slipping away, maybe there's distance between you, like actually geographically, or maybe you really cannot be in the same home together, make the effort, make the phone calls, send the texts, all those kinds of things, because it is worth it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see this very last card, the Garden and the Gate. interesting. A lot of kind of protective energy. We have the exoskeleton of the Scorpio here. We have the armadillo with that shell. And then we have this gate, which is very much a separation between the inside and the outside. I feel like your garden, right, as we see with the 9 of coins, is very much on the inside. You guys taking a more introverted stance this week, taking a little bit more of a deeper look inside yourselves, kind of getting reacquainted with that true and authentic part of you. And, really having the opportunity to start cherishing what you have. I'm almost even getting the secret garden quality. Like you're going to discover some kind of a secret garden within yourself that you didn't really know was there. And that is also very much worth protecting. So yeah, it's about awareness. A lot of this is about awareness, and it's a lot about communication here if you do want to enjoy that positive movement. Okay? All right, you guys, beautiful reading. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 4. You guys picked the beautiful violet agate. So let's go ahead and see what these cards have to say for you. Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. You guys seem to be operating from a place of utility right now, which I think ultimately is a really good thing. You are pushing your resources to the limit. You're working very hard. You are dedicating all your energy and attention to things that really matter. And there's just not a lot of waste. There's not a lot of, uselessness here, which is really great. For some reason, I'm feeling a strong Capricorn energy coming out from this because it is such a useful, scrappy kind of energy. So it does seem like you're tapping into that, really ambitious, really driven kind of part of you, which I think is really great. We know that the vulture is kind of a scavenger sort of energy. So it does seem to me like you are really making things work and you really are pushing limits, but I think in a good way, hopefully in a good way. Okay, so we do get the 9 of Swords. Hopefully you guys are faring okay. Hopefully your living situations are okay and your work situations are okay. The 9 of Swords, it could be a little bit of an overreaction. Maybe you are tapping a little bit more into the fear aspect of what's going on. But yet, ultimately, I think that there's a lot of positivity still coming from you. Page of Wands always has his head held high, and he always seemed to have a very open heart, really willing to go toward any horizon and just sort of explore. The 8 of Cups reversed does suggest that there seems to be a situation in your life, though, that is a little bit stagnant, a little bit stale, or something that you're having a hard time really making your way away from, that might actually be better if you did leave it behind. There could be an emotional thing coming out, like maybe this sort of global event is surfacing past pains that maybe you ignored at one point in your life, and now it's coming back up for resolution. And that in and of itself could be very stressful as well. I hope that you are not working or operating in a scarcity mindset, where there's a lot of fear of like, oh my God, we're, gonna all die and we're all gonna have all this negative stuff happen and there's not gonna be any food and all this stuff, because I think that is going to just spiral. I mean, if it hasn't already, it's going to spiral more and more and more out of control. So it's important that you just take it one day at a time, like this Page of Wands here. There could be some childhood stuff coming up for some of you. If you grew up maybe with not a lot of money, or if you grew up in a home that, was very, very stringent, especially with their resources, this could be really triggering some stuff for you as well. That won't apply to all of you. We have the Knight of Swords. A lot of attention on this vulture. Wow, like he's running into it. These swords are pointing into it. It's really, really okay. I don't know that this is a bad thing, right? Because I think this is real scrappy and resourceful. I think it's okay. But I am worried as to how much energy it's getting. Because there does seem to still be abundance all around you. Maybe it's a very good week for you daily to sit down and list 20 things that you are super grateful for right now, and really look around and say, it could be worse, right? Because I know that there are a lot of people in this world who might have it worse. And And I think ultimately you're good in a lot of ways. I think you have a lot of your needs being met. You know, you have food on the table, all those kinds of things. So this sort of scavenger energy, nothing is wasted, might be a little too much. Okay. I'm feeling a lot of weight here. So express your gratitude, find the abundance in your life, and really tap into your wholeness. Now, the Hierophant is really like our inner guru. It's truly that light within us that keeps us truly grounded, that keeps us on point, that keeps us on track with our mission or our purpose here. There are a lot of things that can be done in this regard, and that Page of Wands is like, yes, let's go down this path. Let's do the thing that feels good. Let's do the things that, continue to make us happy or that continue to bring us abundance here. I don't think this Page of Wands is too keen on making its way through these kinds of energies. He just kind of wants to skip over here, which is possible through consciousness, which is possible through our awareness and through our thought. Because ultimately, the Ten of Cups is really a card of fulfillment. And this is a card where you can feel this at any moment in time. You just have to close your eyes and talk about how grateful you are to even just have air in your lungs, right? That kind of thing. So there's a lot of beauty, there's a lot of bounty to be had for you. Okay, so we have intuition, we have emotional withdrawal, and we have rewards and recognition. So, where are you pulling away, or are people pulling away from you? Is there, maybe this really is a signification of a strong awakening for you as an individual. Maybe there have been some very deep insights right now. Maybe there have been a lot of aha or light bulb kind of moments, because when this card comes in, this is kind of like the High Priestess card. When she comes in, there's a lot of information that can be received during that time, and we start feeling a lot of things, and sometimes we do need to withdraw in order to really process. So you guys are going through a major growth spurt right now, which is really an amazing thing, because it's going to get you here toward this recognition and reward kind of energy. There seems to be a quality of a path, and I see this Hierophant guiding you. And I love the Hierophant with this intuition card, because it's just following blindly, even though there might be a lot of reasons why you don't want to. This is a true sort of act of courage going on here. You seem to be putting a lot of faith in your inner knowing, a lot of faith in your higher self, and just saying, okay, I trust you. And that is probably the most courageous thing of all. And kudos to you for being able to really balance this kind of energy out with this and allowing these kinds of positive things to win, because that's the true mark of someone who is operating in awareness, who is operating from a higher consciousness. You can still feel these things, but to not allow yourself to be victimized by them is the true mark of a spiritual warrior. Okay, so there's a lot of good angles to see, a lot of good or positive perspectives to see. Meditate and contemplate a new moon in Pisces quality. Meditation, contemplation will enable your higher self to speak to you, and you might need that a little bit more than most people, because this Nine of Swords is present, and because there's clearly now this might not be you. Actually, let's just talk about that Knight of Swords. I kind of skimmed over it. I feel like that Knight of Swords could be someone else who is kind of jamming information down your throat. Be careful how much news you consume and how much media you consume, because it can fuel the Nine of Swords fire here, and it can make situations a lot worse. This person or this entity is not focused on all the good. It's not focused on this kind of stuff. It's not focused on your good health. It's not focused on your abundance. It is kind of a fear-mongering kind of energy for the sake of their own benefit. If this is someone that you know, like personally, like it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something, if they're just jabbering a little too much and it's keeping you from really hearing your voice, then that is when this emotional withdrawal is super important, because you're going to need that seclusion or that kind of hermit energy for the sake of the tapping into that spiritual warrior quality. Okay. We have what did I say with that vulture? There's a strong Capricorn energy. Here it is. We have this this energy of climbing, ambition, always plowing forward, always climbing upwards. It's very, like I said, that word scrappy keeps coming to my mind. It's very scrappy and resourceful, and it does just maximize everything it's got, whether it is actual material resources or whether it is its own skill and talent. And I think there's a lot of faith in yourself right now, which is really great. Not a lot of people have that, so it's excellent that you do have it. And it's important for you to use it right now, because that's a part of helping to really overcome this Nine of Swords stuff here. So now, for those of you who are in relationships, I did pull a romance card just to kind of, connect. We do have that full moon in Libra, so I wanted to talk about it. We have the Children card. Your love life is being affected by children. So especially if you actually have kids, and I am getting a family card here, there could be more attention being spent on your children more so than your partner. I don't necessarily know that there's anything wrong with that. I think potentially you and your partners might just be going through two different experiences, right? And you might need a little bit of separation for yourself. For those of you who are wanting children, there could be, an added sexual drive for you this week. And who knows, it might happen, right? I think there's going to be a lot of December and January babies during all of this, like next year. So come together if you want to. Okay, and then, ooh, beautiful. Last card, we have the Action card. Excellent, excellent. There are a lot of actions that you can take, and they will be in line with your intuition and your higher self here. And again, don't forget there's actual recognition and reward here, so it's not like it's for nothing. There will be growth, there will be prosperity and wealth to be generated, especially when Capricorn comes out. That's just the nature of Capricorn. It's not really going to do anything unless there is some kind of benefit to either themselves or the world here. So there's going to be a drive, maybe even obsessive quality coming out that says, I gotta go, I gotta run, I gotta make something happen, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And, I think ultimately it will transpire into something pretty incredible. Maybe for some of you, this is a fuel that you are using, that you are burning in order to achieve these things, in order to climb the highest heights of the mountain here. And whatever it is you're trying for, it does seem to be in line with a higher purpose. So obstacles will be few and far between, and success will be imminent. So, I think you're in a really, really good track. Now that I see these final cards, I'm actually not worried so much about this Nine of Swords or the Knight of Swords too much, because I don't think they have that much power. Because when you are at a Hierophant space, there's really nothing a Nine of Swords can really do, because the light here is so bright and so brilliant, and the drive, this sort of obsessive nature that Capricorn has to continually move forward, it's going to persevere and it's going to be more prominent than the Nine of Swords. Okay, so nothing really to worry about for you guys, just some things that may surface, but ultimately they'll be in and out of your life quite quickly. So excellent reading, you guys. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.